Hello, everybody, and welcome to Play Some Video Games, the only gaming podcast who is also expected to put an offer this year for Colin Kaepernick. We appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us each and every week and listening to us babble about nonsense, video games, nerd stuff, and just overall shenanigans. It is I, your host, Kevin. With me this week is Seth. Seth, how are we doing?
Doing great.
Excellent. And making his return as well, Josh, how are we doing?
Could be better.
Could be better.
I'm just being honest.
I've had a week too, so I know how it is. But yeah, let's jump in and catch up then on what we've been doing and what's been going on. So actually, Josh, why don't you go first?
Okay, well, we'll start with this beer. Life's been tough the past week or so, probably even since the last time I've been on the podcast. Just child rearing and being a passable husband. Life's been challenging. So my gaming has been a little lackluster. I did pick up Overcooked for the Switch yesterday. My wife and her sister were here. I turned it on for them. They didn't seem to want to play it. So while I was in the middle of cooking dinner, ironically, I would come back and forth between the kitchen and play with my wife. We played, I don't know, maybe for 5 minutes before I ended up burning the rice and the chicken. So
in the game or in real life?
No, in real life.
Okay. Just we have to clarify, just saying.
Yeah, so I decided there'll be a time and a place for Overcooked, and it will not be while I'm cooking dinner. No. I'm playing Splatoon 2. I enjoy it for what I've played so far. I'm kind of bummed I haven't been able to get into the salmon run mode yet, which everyone seems to be loving.
I think that's going on right now.
Is it? So maybe I'll try to jump on
from today.
24 hours from 8 p.m. tonight till 8 p.m. tomorrow.
Yes.
Cool. Good. I'll try to jump on that at some point and play it.
Let's just stop the broadcast. Let's go play. Salmon run real quick.
It's right here. I can
reach it. Mine's like 10 feet away. So
I was just playing a second ago. God forbid, though, I have to quit out of a match. So I might be playing for cheating, which has already happened once because I had mistakenly started with the wrong gun. What else have I been playing? Been playing a lot of games on my phone, which is bizarre for me. And I owe Kevin a review yesterday that I've been trying to play. It's a game called 99 Vidas. For the PlayStation 4.
Is that called that because that's how many Vitas have been sold?
No, unfortunately, it's Vitas with a D.
Oh, okay.
And, spoiler alert: it stands for 99 lives, which they named the game after. Ironically, right at the beginning of the game, they tell you, your characters are self-aware. You only have 5 lives. How ironic. How weird. And I can't really put the audio in the review, so I'm gonna say this now. It's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, like a retro style. Think Streets of Rage, Double Dragon, Ninja Turtles, the side-scrolling one. You have elements like Earth, Wind, Water,
Fire and Heart. And you make Captain Planet?
No,
Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Earth, Wind, and Fire. Close. Yeah, pretty much. But we're taking the Spanish word for lives, and now we're incorporating into a game which the beauty of the PlayStation 4 controller is it can yell things at you while you're playing, which is always fun. So I just want you to picture this. This will be I won't talk about any more games after this. You're walking through the game. You're low on health. You punch a crate. The crate opens. There's an apple in it, maybe, or a burger, we'll say. You go up. You eat it unsuspectingly. Your controller yells at you in probably, I live in Worcester, Massachusetts, a very Latin neighborhood now, area. Imagine a very racist, I eat, pops out every time you eat a piece of food. Every time. I eat. And I'm not even as racist as that game is when I say that. It's 10 times worse. It's so bad. I'm having a tough time getting past that part of trying to review a game like unbiasedly, but
I'm so glad you got that game. I'm so happy you have it.
Yeah, well, I guess I can probably relate the most out of all of us besides Lobo. It does some things right, but the things it does wrong really, really overweighs the good things. So that's what I've been playing.
Fair enough. Seth, what have you been playing?
I haven't been on in a long time. So I think since E3.
You've been going on vacation and running all over the place, honestly.
Yes, yeah, I've been going out. A perk of working for schools here. I apologize for this black thing that keeps going across my screen. It's my cat's tail, and now he just got down. So I'm not going to recap everything I've played in the past couple months here, but kind of what I'm playing now. Playing Splatoon. It's my first time playing a Splatoon game, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm on level 10 right now on Turf War, and have really started. I feel like I'm doing pretty well in that right now. I jumped into ranked mode briefly and got my tail kicked in that. And I've also done a little bit of single player mode. I finished the first world, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great game. I'm glad I jumped in on it. Also got Overcooked and I jumped into it single player briefly and played just the first couple levels just to see if I thought my kids would enjoy it. And it's tough to play single player because you're switching back and forth between the two characters and really trying to balance things out. And I think it's made for 2 players for sure. And if you get more than that, 3 players I think can work too. But and then I played it with my kids, and so that was kind of fun. Donnie earlier tonight streamed it with his kids and his wife, and they had some fun moments. And kind of watching his stream was a lot like playing it was for me too. So it's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to playing that. Started Pyre, which is the new game from Supergiant. It is. It's different from Transistor and Bastion in that it's more of it's a visual novel, and you have some choices that you can make. And then it's also a sports game where you go and get an orb, and you have to throw it in the other person's pyre or goal, and eventually extinguish their pyre. So it's like 80% visual novel and 20% sports game. I don't know.
We gotta say Madden just for.
Yeah. So it's different. Transistor is one of my favorite games on the PS4. I have it ranked number 2, just behind Uncharted 4, and Bastion is in my top 20 games on PS4 also. And Pyre, I'll see. I'm pretty early in it. I like everything about it, but it's different. I'm playing Super Hot for review right now, and I think that it's a short game. I think I'm maybe halfway through it, and it's a first-person shooter, but it's almost more of a puzzle game because every time you move, if you stay still, everything in the level stays still. If you move, everything in the level moves. So when you move, the bad guys move, and then they shoot at you, and you can kind of dodge them and shoot back at them and everything. So it's interesting. And then the last game I want to touch on briefly is Horizon, which I actually haven't played now for a couple weeks. I am sitting.
Talking about Zero Dawn, right? Horizon Zero.
Yeah,
Dawn.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Just making sure.
I'm sitting pretty close to the end, I think. I've got maybe five main missions left and a bunch of side missions, but 5 main missions. And we've talked about it on chat, but it just isn't quite sticking with me. It's a good game. It's a great game. Obviously, it looks great. I like the combat. I like the character of Aloy. I like kind of figuring out how the world deteriorated into this sort of future prehistoric world in the year 3300 or whatever year it is. But I don't know, it's not sticking with me. And I don't really feel a desire to go back. I'm hoping to get that itch soon because I like to complete games. But it just isn't quite hitting it for me. But anyway, that's what I've been playing.
All right. So that leaves me. I, too, am playing Splatoon 2. I think this is probably the first game we've had this many people from staff playing all at the same time, that's for sure. So it's been a lot of fun. Been jumping in with a bunch of people from the community, as well as some of our friends over at the Indie Podcast Network and Nintendo Nostalgia and stuff like that, too. So having a lot of fun with that. I'm a veteran of the first one, so I'm a little more used to what's going on than some of you guys jumping in for the first time. But from what I've seen, everybody seems to be picking it up and running with it and doing pretty well. So we'll see where that goes. There's some different things happening. Salmon Run, so we know, is open now. There's a Splatfest coming up, Ketchup versus Mayo. We talked about that before. So looking forward to see the evolution of Splatoon again over the next year of updates. Other than that, doing 2 games to review again on top of the 2 I did last week. Town of Light on PS4 I'm playing, which was I want to say the trailer made it seem more of a horror game, where it's more of a psychological thriller, I'd say. It's very much more like Everybody's Gone to the Rapture than it is Until Dawn or anything like that. So it's pretty good so far, so be on the lookout for that review to hit. Graphically, it's really cool. Voiceover work is excellent. So far, so good. Yonder, the Cloud Catcher Chronicles. That's a mouthful. Playing that on PS4 as well. This game is a little reminiscent of like an Oceanhorn or a Legend of Zelda in regards to it's kind of a big open landscape, but you're catching these like fairy type things that are used to help you along the way with different elements and stuff like that. A lot of crafting, a lot of exploration, and side quests is like the focus of this game. So far pretty cool. Not as far into that as I am in Town of Light. Finished up Project X Zone 2 on my 3DS to make way for the 2 big games that dropped this week that I'll actually be picking up on Tuesday, Miitopia and Hey Pikmin for the 3DS. I will be reviewing Hey Pikmin. I think Donnie's doing Miitopia. We might decide to do a review cast for the 2 of them together since we're both playing them, but we'll see. Only time will tell there. And then like Josh had mentioned, I've been playing a bit of games on my phone as well. I upgraded my phone, so a little more space, a little more power, so I've been downloading some games. Still playing Disney Magic Kingdoms, which if you listen to the last one, Caroline and I talked about that game for way too long in the Lion King event, but it's coming towards an end. And then yesterday I actually launched the Elder Scrolls Legends card game on it.
I just want to mention that.
Yeah, so far I played probably, I don't know, the first 6 or 7 or 8 matches in story mode. I like it. It's not bad. It's similar to Hearthstone a little bit. There's just a little more in-depth to it and stuff like that. Down the line, I can see it being a lot of fun. I unlocked my second deck of cards that you can use. So yeah, so far so good. I don't know how long I'm going to play it, but it was definitely worth checking out. I'm glad I did. So we'll see if I keep sticking with it as time goes on. But that's it for us. So let's jump in and hear from you guys. We have a bunch of messages and questions sent our way this week, so we want to dive right into those and address those. So it's time to check the messages. Message number 1, Doomfist. Is this the best name ever or the worst name ever for a video game character? Josh, because you're smirking.
I prefer Punchy, to be honest with you. So I think it's an alright name. I don't like that I have to pick one or the other. I'm gonna sit right in the middle. It's okay. It suits the character. I'm excited to play as him. He's actually got me interested in putting Overwatch back in the PlayStation because Injustice has been sitting in that disc slot for a while. So being as fickle as I can be with playing games and whatnot, I have to kind of like take my time and decide if I want to take a game out and put another one in, and that one usually stays in for a while. So I might pop in Overwatch and wait till Starfire comes out in a couple of weeks and maybe play that a bunch when I have the time.
Yeah. Seth, what do you think about the name Doomfist there?
It certainly leaves an impression. And it is. I haven't touched Overwatch for a while, but I think Doomfist obviously just came out, and there was another character a little while ago that might have come out that I haven't even played yet. So I'm ready to go back in at some point. I'm with Josh. It's not the best name ever or the worst name ever. It's maybe a little bit generic. Think of the anime One Punch Man. I don't know. It made me think of that a little bit. So
I can see that for sure. So before I answer, though, we'll jump into, in case you're not familiar, Doomfist was the new character released, and there's also another update that came out for Overwatch this week. So the Overwatch patch was released this week, which contained the villain Doomfist, but also contained another major change that fans are now only spotting. So besides Doomfist, they did make a change to the respawning. Basically, there was an existing system that solely increased the defender's respawn time in the case where there were more attackers than defenders on any given objective for like 30 seconds. So then it increased the linear fashion to a maximum where the attackers held the advantage for like 90 seconds. So they just kind of reverted back that timer increase over time. And basically, the maximum possible increase of defender spawn time is at 75 seconds. So basically, just more rebalancing to the game, but where people probably had their set strategies and how to kind of tackle and go after everybody in each individual match, they now need to rethink that strategy because that no longer is there with that increased benefit time of like 15 extra seconds you had where you were able to attack more than you had people defending. So the name Doomfist. So Overwatch, as Josh said, I'm kind of in the middle. It's fine. It fits the tone of this game. This game is a little goofy. It's a little over the top. It's a little cartoonish. That's fine. But yeah, it's the Fist of Doom. What are you gonna say? I don't know. It's all right. It's just an odd choice, and that's coming from somebody who's been spending the last week playing as children who turn into squids and shoot each other with ink. So you know, it is.
Are
what
they
it
children? Is. What are those? Are those kids? Because I'm very confused.
They're inklings.
Is that like a race of people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they say stay off the hook, and I'm like, who's hooking you?
Oh, so you got to read the lore that was hidden in the first Splatoon, and you'll understand what happened.
I don't need fan fiction.
Splatoon.
No, it's not fan fiction. It was in the game. So it was in the game. All right. So second question here: how do I get rid of my feeling of missing out and convince myself that I do not have to play every game that comes out? Seth.
Look at your wallet. That's about it. You probably aren't going to get rid of your FOMO. The one thing that I'm learning, I feel like I'm getting better at identifying games that I think I'm going to like, and trying to stay away from games that I think I'm not going to play as much. So I mean that's about it. It's about identifying identifying what games that I'm going to like, and so that I don't feel like I'm missing out on Hey Pikmin, because I really don't have any attachment to Pikmin and don't care about it, so I'm not feeling like I'm missing out on that. But I was away over the weekend when Splatoon launched. And so seeing everybody's comments about that, I was already kind of on board after playing the last Splatfest, but I was definitely on board after seeing everyone play it a lot. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Josh, how do you get rid of feeling of missing out?
I don't. I'm like a sucker for it. I hate it. And I'm like the biggest culprit as far as social gaming goes. And that's where my FOMO hits me the worst, is when I'm feeling out of the conversation as well. Like when everyone's playing Splatoon, when everyone's playing Overwatch. Like if you look through my games right now, which I purposely did not look through them because I didn't want to be depressed when I saw the question. A lot of the games I have are multiplayer games like Ghost Recon Wildlands, Overwatch, Splatoon, Mario Kart 8, all these games I picked up with the intention of wanting to play them, but really getting them because PSVG is playing the games. and I feel that right now. I was in GameStop when I picked up Splatoon 2, and the guy was talking to me about Destiny 2, and I was like, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I want to play Destiny 2 so bad, but if I play Destiny 2, I literally have to not play another game for 2 months, if that. And the problem with games like Destiny, who really hit that fear of missing out, is right now, like, okay, so Destiny 2 launches, say that first 2 weeks that it's out, everyone's playing the strikes, the raids, the nightfalls, and you have this like leeway. You have this like for forgiveness for being bad. But, and I'm using an example, a friend of mine on Facebook just posted yesterday. I remember why I stopped doing nightfalls in Destiny, because people suck at them. And I'm like, well, you don't know that wasn't just the kid who got Destiny for $10 at GameStop, and you're judging him right away because he is a victim of missing out. So that really bums me out. So I think, like Seth kind of hit on it a little bit. What my theory is you kind of have to look at like a launch window, and you need to decide what you're going to spend your time on, and then accept that you're going to miss out on something. You have to, because a lot of times I'll go trading games I never even played. Yeah. Like I have games that sat there for 6 months, paid $60 for them, and now I'm getting $15 because I need the next game that everyone's getting.
So it can sit on the shelf and not play it.
Yeah, and I justify trading that game in because I never got to it. Like, thank God, like I got Wildlands digitally, because now I can't trade it in, which means I will eventually play it. And if I play it by myself, like I did The Division, that was another game I decided I can't wait for people. No one was playing The Division when I got it, so I just played it by myself. Luckily, it was a game it was very difficult to play by myself, but I did. And I finished the game, the main game, but then I didn't pick up any of the DLC because by the time I finished the main game, everyone had finished the DLC. So I know who sent the question, and I'll keep them nameless though, but I feel the FOMO real bad all the time, and I don't have a great solution for it because I'd be a hypocrite if I gave you advice being the victim of it myself.
No, it's true, and I side a little bit more there with Seth as far as you got to look at your wallet sometimes. I mean, we look at, like yourself, Josh, and myself, who don't really buy a ton of games. I bought more recently than I had historically before, and then you look at like Coach Mo, who literally plays everything and gets achievements. So it's tough. You're exposed to people there who do play everything, and then you're like, why not me? And it's a reality of life. I am taking a page out of Coach Mo's book though, and trying to start a quote unquote gaming fund where every paycheck I put aside a little bit of money while I can afford to do so, and then make those decisions saying, okay, well, if I don't have the funds in my gaming fund right now to make this purchase, then I'm not going to purchase it now. And that's kind of my fear of missing out, is I just need to not care and just say, okay, well, if it's in the budget, then I can buy it and I won't miss out. But if it's not in the budget, then I'm going to have to wait and decide how bad I want it and pick it up the next time or whatever the case is. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I don't think you can get rid of it as opposed to getting over it and just saying, well, I can't care about everything all the time. But next message. Are you watching Game of Thrones? And if not, why do you hate things that are awesome? I hate things that are awesome because generally I don't dig medieval stuff. It's just me. I was never like Lord of the Rings. Skyrim never really connected with me. Shadow of Mordor never really connected with me. Game of Thrones doesn't connect with me. That's just me. My wife watches it. She's probably streaming it right now. She's trying to catch up and then start watching this season. So she's a big fan, but it's just never appealed to me. I don't know. I know everybody loves it, and maybe someday it'll connect with me, but I tried, watched the whole first season. Did absolutely nothing for me. I wanted to fall asleep half the time, so just never did. Josh, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, Game of Thrones is amazing. and it's okay. You don't have to like it. I get it. It's a genre thing. Do you like? Maybe I can appeal to your interest. Do you like murder?
Like performing, or that's kind of a vague question.
Do you
like murder?
Do you watch? That's a good point. Do you like incest? Do you like that? No, is that not selling you on it? I'm kidding, obviously. No, it's a great show. It's insanely well written. If you're a fan of it now, you're suffering from them running out of story to tell, which is kind of a bummer right now. And I have a lot of friends who like to binge now at this point. So if you're not watching right now, it's okay, because next year's the last year. So wait until, fall of next year, and then you can kind of, if you watch the whole thing if you're not. I like the question though. Why do you hate things that are awesome? Sometimes I think the Lego Movie said it best. Everything is awesome, but not everything is for everyone.
Seth, how about you? You watching Game of Thrones? And if not, why don't you like it?
We are not watching Game of Thrones. We actually watched the first season. I think it might have been when they were in the third season. We wanted to try it out and watched the whole first season and the first episode of the second season. Pretty much I watch all TV with my wife, and it just kind of there are some things in the content of Game of Thrones that we just weren't comfortable watching, and so we stopped. Not that I'm saying that anybody else shouldn't watch it or read it or whatever, it doesn't matter. But just we have a limited amount of TV watching time, and right now we're spending that half hour a night watching The Office reruns.
Yes, so, good choice.
So whatever, but in Game of Thrones, it's interesting, it's well acted. It appears to be a pretty good representation of the books up until they surpass the books. And I'm also have a little bit of Kevin, the whole medieval thing. I was about to say I have a little bit of Kevin in me, but I stopped myself, and then I said it anyway.
We all have a little bit of Kevin in us.
The medieval thing, Skyrim, like I played Skyrim and I loved Skyrim. I played it for maybe 20 hours earlier this year. It's a great game, but I didn't finish it. I didn't get into The Witcher because of the setting, and I think I loved Lord of the Rings, but there are just, and I can't put my finger on it, but there are some, just like that setting sometimes grabs me and sometimes doesn't. And honestly, if Game of Thrones really grabbed me, then I would read the books and I would find a way to watch it. But it just, whatever, it hasn't. I get that it's great and that it's well acted, but whatever.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned the limited TV time. So we're kind of going through the same thing here, and not all the shows, but a lot of the shows my wife and I will watch together, or the whole family will watch together, even in some cases, like with Flash, Supergirl, stuff like that. We made the jump today, and I joined Donnie and some of the other staff, and we cut cable. So we went all digital, just streaming Hulu and Netflix, and bumped up my internet speeds and stuff like that, and we're giving it a go. And so far, we're not missing it. So we're only a weekend. We'll see what happens when the fall hits. But
I've been doing it for 6 years.
Oh, okay.
Just on, and we bounce around between. Right now, we're doing Netflix because it's summertime. During TV season, we'll do Hulu. Right now, we have Amazon Prime as much because of shipping and other stuff as it is for video. And really, the only Amazon Prime show that we watch is Man in the High Castle.
Okay.
Which I really like that one, and my wife does too. We like that one a lot. And also, I think that's the only place that Justified, all 6 seasons of Justified are on Amazon.
Oh, maybe.
If you've never seen Justified, it's a great show. But yeah, we've been without cable for 6 years. The only thing I miss is live sports, and there are some ways around.
Right. I bought some 2 high-powered antennas, and I'm using that, and we're picking up the local channel. So I think the only game I have to figure out an alternative for is if the Patriots play on ESPN. That'll be the only time I need to figure out something else, which I think I can still find a way to stream it regardless. So it'll be good.
Yeah, we cut the cable 5 years ago ourselves. We do the Hulu commercial-free plan.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And they just added live TV to Hulu. It's $40 a month, but they have all the sports channels for New England. We didn't do it yet because if you look on their website, it's like you got CBS, and that's one of the big things we miss on Hulu is like Big Bang and whatever else is on CBS. Every NCIS. But if you look at your zip code, it shows. At least for us, we don't get that CBS, but they have. We're considering doing it as a trial, and you can do like all the FX channels, all the sports channels for our area. Because I also have an antenna that's hooked up, but I can't because where my location is. I can't always. I have to move it sometimes to try to find the Pats games, which can be a pain in the butt. So I might do Hulu in September, October, and see how that works out. But yeah, cut the cord is the way to go, unless you want to watch that Star Trek Discovery show, and then you kind of. They released a Comic-Con trailer. They showed it Netflix all over the place, and then when you look at it, it's only in the UK and Canada. you have to do CBS All Access, which is like another $15 a month when they launch it.
Garbage. It is garbage. All right, so yeah, that's it for that one. So next one is anyone else more excited for the 99-cent movie rentals on the PS Plus sale than they are for the actual gaming lineup? So let me go over the lineup first here. So we'll go with Microsoft first. Games with Gold members will receive 4 free games, 2 on Xbox One, 2 on Xbox 360 as part of Games with Gold program. But of course, you can play them both because of backward compatibility. So for the entire month, you can download Slime Rancher and Trials Fusion from August 16th to September 15th. On 360, you can get Bayonetta, the first one, from August 1st to the 15th, and Red Faction Armageddon from August 16th to the 31st. Now, on PS Plus side, we are getting Just Cause 3 and Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry for PlayStation 4, Super Motherload and Snake Ball for the PS3 if you're still doing it, as well as Downwell, which is also on PS4, and Level 22 for the PS Vita if you're still hanging on to that thing. But they are also doing some movie rentals. I forget. I gotta see if I can find the lineup here while you guys are talking. I know it's a different one every week for 99 cents. I think Power Rangers is on there.
Lego Batman.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And the Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
And 3 more.
I'm trying to find. Oh, okay. Here, I'm pulling it up. Okay, week 1 is Lego Batman. Week 2 is Logan. Week 3 is Power Rangers. Week 4 is Kong Skull Island. Week 5 is Boss Baby, and week 6 is Ghost in a Shell. So it starts the week. It starts this week, so it's going on right now. So you can get Lego Batman for this week, followed by Logan going forward. So yeah, there's some good things here. I bought Lego Batman. I have a digital copy of Power Rangers. I haven't watched it yet. No interest in Boss Baby, obviously. Still haven't seen Logan or Skull Island, so I might do those possibly. But as far as being more excited for this than I am for the games, I'm going to say no, only because I haven't played these games. And I did play Just Cause 2, and while it wasn't a great game, it was fun. So I'm looking forward to trying out the third one. It seems like it's a lot of fun as well. So for me, it's a no. I like owning my movies as opposed to renting them for 99 cents. Or if I'm really not interested, I'll just do Redbox, which is like the same price anyway. And I don't have to download it or stream it. So for me, no. What about you, Seth?
If I'm being honest, I'm probably not going to play any of those games or rent any of those movies. I am interested in Just Cause 3 because I also played Just Cause 2, I think, when it was free on Plus at some point. And it's a fun game that you can shoot a whatever it's called in the game, shoot a bat claw up to a helicopter and go up there and swing off the helicopter and jump down and ride on a motorcycle and whatever. I do want to put a plug in for Downwell, which is a really good game. It's difficult. It's a roguelike where you're going down a well and you can't land. You have these boots that shoot guns, or that shoot bullets, or you have like gun boots, and they shoot bullets to enemies, and you don't really land. You try not to land as much so you can build up your combo, and it's really tough. And even if you don't have a Vita, try it out on PS4, and it's a lot of fun. I am interested. I haven't seen Lego Batman yet, so I wouldn't mind seeing it.
So good, so good.
And I enjoyed the Power Rangers movie. I know some people on the PSVG staff talk down about it who haven't even seen it. But it's fun. Whatever. It's Power Rangers. It's goofy, and it's a good summer action movie. And I am interested in seeing Ghost in the Shell. Might have my nerd card revoked, but I've never seen the original.
Neither have I, so I'm with you.
It is on Hulu. And I have it bookmarked on Hulu to watch at some point, and we just haven't gotten around to it, partly because I don't know how interested my wife is interested in watching it. So, again, honestly, I'm probably not going to rent any of them just because of timing. We're starting to get into our back-to-school season here in a couple weeks, and it just kind of turns into a busy time for me. And additionally, we haven't started having our free TV time until after 10 o'clock, which doesn't leave much time for free time. So, no is my answer.
Okay. And Josh, how about you?
So, for the Xbox ones, I'm excited. Slime Rancher is like, I don't know if you've seen video of it, but it like looks like an odd No Man's Sky with slime, I guess, and you like farm them to shoot at enemies, supposedly. It looks interesting. I'm more excited for the PlayStation side for the movies. I learned my lesson with Redbox last week because I rented Lego Batman and John Wick 2. And I kept John Wick 2 for like 5 days, so it cost me $10. I would have rather have just bought it, which I usually do buy movies. So I wanted to buy Kong Skull Island, but for 99 cents, I can't say no. And the last PlayStation sales for the 99 cents ones was like Assassin's Creed, which I never watched, just expired. The Da Vinci's Demons or whatever it was, Inferno. Sorry, Da Vinci Inferno. Rented that. We never watched it. So, I mean, for 99 cents, I think it's worth the bargain. But for everything else, Just Cause 3 looked interesting. I saw a lot of videos with them abusing that grappling hook thing, where he was just like the old Spider-Man PS2 game, like no buildings in sight and just grappling that thing out into the middle of nowhere. So that was kind of a weird, but I'll play it. I don't know. The PlayStation games haven't really been doing it for me, and last month or this month was great but I already had Until Dawn, the reason why I bought a PS4. So I'm glad other people got to play it, but it's been slow. I would say maybe the past 2 months for both consoles for me for the quote-unquote free games. So I'm more excited, I guess, to answer that question in a broad way for the movie rentals.
Fair enough. All right, then we'll jump over to the next question there. Rank the following games in terms of units sold, anticipated units sold for the remainder of the year. So basically, we're going to label what our top selling game we think of this list is, and down the line. Destiny 2, Call of Duty World War II, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Madden, and NBA 2K18. I'll go first here. I'm going to go bold, and I'm calling it that Star Wars Battlefront 2 is going to be number 1.
Thank you.
Followed,
Thank you.
followed by Destiny, Madden, Call of Duty, and then NBA 2K18. So those are my predictions. And I want to say Call of Duty only because I think Call of Duty is slowly slipping away. While this one does look good, I think people are still going to play it, but I don't think it has the appeal that it used to. I think Destiny is going to, capture more people's imagination this time around. But I think Battlefront 2 is such a drastic improvement over the last one, and hey, all the DLC is going to be free, so they're just throwing more at you, that I think a lot more people are going to give it a shot. And I mean, it's Star Wars right now, it's hot, and I think they learned their lesson from the first one, what they need to improve, and it's going to be a better product. Madden, I still think, is going to sell gangbusters. It always does. And while NBA 2K18 I think is going to sell well, I just don't think it has the same appeal as these other ones. I could be wrong, we shall see, but those are just my thoughts. Josh, what about you?
All right, so this has been floating around chat for a day, maybe, or maybe longer. It just feels like longer, maybe. Everyone's cutting Battlefront short, and I feel like it's going to crush after the E3 showing it had, and it finally feels like the Battlefront game that everyone's kind of wanted. So I'm going to go Battlefront, Destiny, Madden, NBA, Call of Duty. I think you're not gaining. I don't know how many more fans Call of Duty can gain. It's one of those games that everyone kind of just picks up. But if you imagine yourself in that group of people and you look at all these other games that are coming out that don't come out every year, and you have to skip a game, wouldn't it be Call of Duty? So I feel like that would be the maybe even buy next year, because everyone knows it's going to be $40 to $50 in January, February, March time, which is what I think, and I might pick it up, but I don't know. When I look at the World War II thing, I just think, is it going to be any better than World at War or all of my favorite Call of Duty games that are World War themed? So I mean, we'll see, but that's my prediction.
Alrighty, Seth, what about you? I know you're a big fan of NBA 2K18. Will you concede though that it won't be on top of that list?
It's not going to be on top of this list, no. But I think that it has a good chance of being on top of Madden. Just pulling up and it's we don't have access to specific sales numbers, but I know that the NBA 2K series has been routinely in the 7 to 8 million units sold. And I was looking up, and I know VG charts isn't 100%, and I don't know what they all put in there, but it's about as good as we get for free. And I'm looking on there right now, and as of June 10th, on PS4, NBA 2K17, they have at 3.26 million, and Madden 17 they have at 3.12 million on PS4. On Xbox One, Madden is ahead. I think 2.28 million to 1.88 million for NBA 2K. So they're pretty close to even. So anyway, my 1 through 5 there, I guess. I think that Star Wars, I'm going to put Star Wars at the top. I think that it is people ask for a single player campaign, it's on there. It covers the whole gamut of the Star Wars universe. There's a numbered Star Wars movie coming out this year, just like there was 2 years ago. They're going to have free DLC. I don't know why I did the quotations, but they're going to have free DLC and support that's already been announced for that. So I think it really has a chance to be big. The only thing that could possibly work against it compared to Destiny is it's releasing 2 months later than Destiny. But But I think Battlefront #1, Destiny #2. I still think Call of Duty has a bigger footprint than either Madden or 2K, even though it's not something I never. I played Call of Duty last year because I thought it looked really interesting, and I was terrible at it, and it reinforced that I'm just not good at it, so I'm not going to play it. But I think it's still got a huge footprint. I think it'll outsell the sports games. And then I have 2K ahead of Madden, but they'll probably be pretty close. One thing that we didn't talk about, or that you guys didn't mention for those two, is 2K is coming out on Switch. And I know Switch doesn't have a humongous install base. It's got 4.5 million, I think. But if you know, that's going to be, I bet at least at a small end 500,000 on Switch, and that might be small. It might be 1 million or 1.5 million, and so those are numbers that Madden isn't going to get if we're looking at an overall ecosystem. The other sports game that's not on there is FIFA, which will outsell both of them worldwide. So,
Kevin, I have to change my answer. I forgot Tom Brady was on the cover of Madden, so Madden #1, and then the rest of the list. So
number one in New England, maybe,
so,
but
yeah, so Madden, Battlefront, you know the rest of it.
I'll buy Madden just to burn the cover.
Oh,
you can't burn the American flag; it's a crime.
That's just that's true. All right, so before we jump to the next message, Seth, I think you had some news on NBA 2K18. It's probably good to just jump in right now with it if you like.
Yeah, sure. So earlier this week, Operation Sports, which is a great sim sports website, people get on and they just have a lot of great news about anything sports game related, and they really get into the simulation heavy news. And they had a post from one of the developers of 2K, Eric Benish. I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. So head over to Operation Sports and read that post. We also have a post on Play Some Video Games where I outline some of my favorite things about the information. They are adding a lot to their My GM mode, which is their franchise mode, which is my favorite mode to play in basically any sports game. They say that they're putting more of a story into it, where the past few years since they introduced the My GM name, you create your general manager, and then they have these cutscenes for when Kyle Korver wants more playing time, and you just want to tell him, you're on a team with LeBron James. You're not going to start ahead of LeBron James. Shut up. So I'm hoping some of the story stuff, sort of, that they address some of that kind of stuff that goes on, and also that it'll the story for your general manager is that you were a player and you were on the whoever the opponents for the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 Western Conference Finals, you were on that team. I don't remember, and you injured your leg and had to stop playing, and then 6 years later, now you're going to be a general manager for a team. So there's a little bit of a story there, but they promised that it'll still be, you'll still get to do all of the customization you want to do. Another big thing, they mentioned the collective bargaining agreement, which is a ball nerd thing. But from an authenticity standpoint, I will take over the Minnesota Timberwolves and try to get them to a championship. And just having the authentic contracts, the ability to offer a mid-level exception, the ability to, if you have a player who's making a lot of money and just isn't playing anymore for your team, you can release them using the stretch provision and balance their cap hit over a number of years. It's just kind of minutia that is exciting to see. They're adding the free agent moratorium period, so you'll start just like in the real NBA. teams can start talking to free agents on July 1st, but they can't sign for a week. You'll be able to stash international players overseas after you draft them, so you don't have to bring like Ricky Rubio. He stayed in Spain for a couple years after the Timberwolves drafted him, which was a good thing because that was when the Wolves were drafting point guards every year, sometimes 2 or 3 point guards in the same year. And then they're doing some more stuff with custom branding that's really cool. They've added 10 new cities that you can relocate your teams in, including Virginia Beach, Colorado Springs, Long Beach, California, and a bunch of other places. We have a smaller post on our website, and then that links to a more complete post on Operation Sports if you're at all interested. I assume that of the 3 of us, I'm the only one really interested in NBA 2K.
That's a fair assessment there, at least on my end.
Yeah, but you make it sound like I should be interested.
Exactly.
I appreciate the passion for sure.
Part of it, I tell myself every year that because they don't change that much from year to year, the gameplay, and I keep saying, oh, I'm going to take a year off. But then this year, my favorite team is the Timberwolves, and they just added Jimmy Butler and Jeff Teague and some other former Bull player, and now they're involved in the rumors that they could get Kyrie Irving, which I'm also a semi-Cavs fan. I'm sad to see what the Cavs have done this offseason. So the Timberwolves are actually going to be good for the first time in like 12 years, I hope. So that's another motivation for me this year.
Fair enough. All right, then our last question of the week then is, what is our favorite type of weapon in Splatoon 2 so far? So I'll go first. For me right now, I've been using the arrow spray the most. It's very machine gun-like. The special has worked really well for me. My backup is probably the N-Zap, which is the one that looks like the light gun from the original Nintendo. My only problem with that one right now is the only one I have access to at the level I am. The special is terrible. I think it's the ink armor, which to me is the most useless special of this whole game so far, at least in my experience. So for right now, it's Aerospray, but in the first game as well, the N-Zap was my weapon of choice in the first Splatoon. So probably going to continue along the same lines. And I'll even, throw in a bonus too. What's our favorite special that we've done so far too is I actually like the rocket, I forget the names of them, but the rocket launchers that shoot like the 8 missiles out. You target your enemies, you just shoot them, and it drops like the missiles on your enemies. So far, that's been my favorite one. The old missile, which only shot 1 in the first game, was my favorite there too. So just kind of more enhanced version of that. So I'm a big fan of that. Josh, I know you have limited experience with Splatoon so far, but what kind of weapon you digging?
I just hit level 4 today. I don't even know. I don't have a favorite weapon, to be honest with you. Only because I haven't spent enough time with them. So I don't necessarily want to answer it. I want to get the machine gun that I see everyone using. I don't know the name of it.
It's the Aerospray. That's the one.
Aerospray, sure. For the they just released news though today that they are launching a dual splatters. I don't know what it was.
Yes, yeah, they're making another dual weapon. Yeah.
So I'm interested in stuff like that. The special, I think it only had 2. The one I used today that I liked was where it launches you up in the air and you use the ZR button to launch, shoot like
the jetpack.
The equivalent, yeah. It's like shooting like grenades.
Yep.
The equivalent of that. The only problem is everyone sees you, and when you land, you basically get shot to the other end of the map.
Yep.
So I didn't try the roller. I see everyone using it. It seems like the smart choice, which makes me not want to pick it. So maybe the rollers would be cool, but I'll give you an update somewhere, sometime in the near future.
Fair enough. So Seth, you've had a little more hands-on. What are you digging so far?
Like you, I like the Aerospray a lot, partially because I'm successful with it. And games are always more fun when you're doing well. And that also has my favorite current special. The what are the sport, the Olympic sport where
the curling
the
buns?
curling, yeah,
Curling lines, I hate those.
Those are good too.
I like those a lot, and they it charges really fast because you shoot out so much ink. I keep calling it paint, but whatever. You shoot out so much ink so quickly that it charges up, and then you get to the end of your line, and then you can just shoot those in a bunch of directions. And I really get a lot of points or whatever. I still don't understand all of the scoring. It took me probably 20 matches to figure out how to jump from the base to a teammate. It took me a while to figure that out. I don't really understand how the scoring fits into how many points you get for XP. I don't understand all that stuff. But I'm also I'm pretty much buying a lot of different types of weapons, and we'll try them out for a few matches at a time, just because I feel like I want to try everything. I do like the roller. I think it's I think my kids have also started to play it, and they like it too, and they haven't gotten up to where they can unlock the roller yet. I think once I do, I think that'll be a really good it's a really good beginner weapon to make a lot of progress in with, to add to your team.
Are you telling me I can jump to a teammate after I spawn? Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
You blew my mind.
You hit X, and then you could see your teammates on the map. You use your D-pad to select one of your teammates. They obviously can't be respawning at the same time. Then you hit A. It takes longer to respawn when you do this, though, so just be prepared. It's like an extra 20 seconds.
That's huge, though.
You'll come up and you'll launch to where your teammate is. Now, fair warning, though, sometimes you'll land and immediately get killed by somebody who's standing right there, too. So
yeah, but it's better than like traversing area that's already your color ink paint.
Yes. But when you're landing, too, like you may have seen it as you're playing. You see like the rings of color that just appear. That means somebody's going to drop in. So you can actually see them coming, and you wait for them to show up. And
I thought it was like a proximity bomb or something.
I mean, it could be that too. But yes, most of the time it's somebody kind of spawning into your location.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
My mind is blown. I'm going to take advantage of that.
Do you have anything else to add at the end of that, Seth? Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine. The only thing I want to do a quick shout out to a Twitter account called @SplatNetStore. It's a bot that posts the latest items that are available for order from Splatnet 2, which is the Nintendo app. So you can buy, there are clothing items in Inkopolis that you go into the stores. And then if you have the app, which I have not used to chat with yet and probably never will, but you have the app, and the app is great for all the stats that are on it. It's really cool to look back and see how you've done. And then there's a store on the app where they have limited items available. And then you click on there and say, hey, I want this pair of shoes. And then you go into the game and buy them from merch. So there's a Twitter bot, Splatnet Store, that has all of the, whatever the items that are on the Splatnet. So you can, if you're on Twitter and you're following that, you can click on and see, like right now, there's some purple high horses that cost $2,500, but they only have one slot. So, but you can go on and see if there's anything there that you feel like ordering. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And if you haven't downloaded the app, definitely download it. Not for the voice chat stuff, but it just has really cool stats and then has exclusive items on the store.
Plus, you'll know when Salmon Run is open and when new weapons. So the dual squelchers, yes, is the new weapon. It's listed. It's actually there. It shows you on the app that it's available now. So the app is definitely worth there for the news and the updates. It tells you what maps are currently in rotation, the whole nine. Yep. Josh, showing on screen now. Let me enlarge that, Josh. What's up? Yep. So that's the new weapon there. I'll probably be trying to buy those right after. I'm not sure what level you got to be, but I'm excited for that. I like the dual gun so far. Yeah, so that wraps up the messages for the week. So now it's time to jump in. We did cover some news kind of intertwined with the messages, but we do have a couple more things we want to make you aware of. So it's time to jump into the news of the week. Our first story This one's a funny one Seth brought to my attention. Night Trap, the 25th anniversary edition is coming. The release date has been announced. So it will hit PS4 first on August 11th, followed by a digital version on both console and PC on August 15th. The physical PS4 version comes with limited run games with cover art. It takes after the original Sega CD release, it looks like. Both standard and collector's editions are listed as coming soon on the retailer's website. The collector set also comes with a cassette tape of the game's theme, a patch, and a poster. The Xbox One port is still in the works, but does not have a date. All platforms will have new features like a behind-the-scenes documentary, deleted scenes, and a theater mode, along with the same classic, super cheesy cutscenes that won over B-movie fans for the past 2 decades, really, when you think about it. Depending on where you stand for full motion video, Night Trap is either a much loved or much hated thing. It was originally released on Sega CD, which didn't last very long, and a lot of retailers actually yanked it due to its racy content, because basically you're playing a voyeur with a strong interest in teen girls. So, you know, perfect game for Josh. I'm sure he's got it pre-ordered based on your comments from earlier. But yeah, so Night Trap, you guys excited or even remotely interested in revisiting Night Trap, or heck, playing it for the first time maybe? Josh, we'll go to you first since I'm picking on you.
All right, so when I was a kid, Sega CD was like a luxury item. Like if you had 15 friends, 2 of them owned one, you know. So we would go to my friend's house to play like Joe Montana football on Sega CD, or we'd go upstairs to my cousins to play Sonic CD. So Night Trap came out, and they were like, it was like when I was a kid, I didn't have all these fancy things. We would go to computer shows in our area because we had a 486 Pentium processor, all this like nonsense where you play Monty Python's chess, but you'd always see these adult PC games. And as a teenager, you're always like, oh, why is Dad not letting me look at what he's buying today? You know, so you're always curious. So Night Trap came out, and I want to say every kid who went through puberty was like, I got to get this game because on the cover is a girl in her bra. And who knows, you know, and I finally got to play this game, and it was horrible. So bad. All you do, it's like it's like this generation's Five Nights at Freddy's, yep, except it's slightly pornographic. It's all implied. They don't ever show anything that you wouldn't see on TV now. So it's all implied what you're going to see in the game, but realistically, I remember you're just watching burglars break into a house full of a slumber party girls, and you can't do much. Like, except for watch the burglars break in and have a game over, like, come up. Like, it wasn't a very well-made game. It was like playing E.T. on the Atari. So this is pure nostalgia. I understand why people want to buy it. Really, they're just making this for collectors, though. Yeah. No one's going to buy this game that has never played it and give it a positive review. There's no way. It's not possible. Unless they were like, oh, we recut every scene.
Which they didn't. They've already said that it's still intact.
Yeah, so unless that was the case, it's cool. I'm not going to pay money for it unless it was like $10, and that would just be for nostalgia. There's no way I'd play through that whole game. I'd have to Google how to complete the game. Those games back then were impossible to beat because they just like that's all you had. So they're like, oh, this kid's going to play this game for 50 hours. He'll figure out what door and what window to lock so the burglars can't get in. I'm depressed talking about it.
Seth, is this one you're going to sit down and play with the wife and kids?
No. I don't even know that I'd heard of this one until it was coming out again here. I am curious about it. I might watch, part of a playthrough just to see. At my granddad's house had a Sega CD, but he did not have this game.
and he just hid it from you.
I'm pretty sure he didn't. I doubt he knew how to work it. But the one game on Sega CD that I remember playing, he also had obviously Sega Genesis, and the game that he had there that I remember was Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Did anybody play that?
Yes, that game is incredible.
Heck yes.
Still.
Yep.
The game where you're Michael Jackson and you're rescuing
Children.
little boys out of closets
with your monkey.
Naturally. What else would you do with?
And the one Sega CD game that I remember playing is Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch Make My Video, and you just had to make a music video using Marky Mark songs. So that was my guess. I'm looking now. There was a Crisscross one and also an NXS one, but I didn't.
There was also a CNC Music Factory one.
Oh, so I spent probably far longer than basically anybody else in the world making videos for Good Vibrations and You Gotta Believe.
Feel it.
Yeah. So that's my Sega CD experience.
All right, fair enough. Other news. So we talked about this, I believe, in the last episode. I think it happened. Yeah, it's already happened. So last Friday, or 2 Fridays ago, but probably by the time you guys listen to it, Walmart dropped the pre-orders for the Super NES Classic Edition in the middle of the night while every real Nintendo fan was playing Splatoon. I was unable to pre-order one, but a bunch of people did. And when it was live for about 45 minutes, people were able to pre-order it. Then over the next couple days, some of these pre-orders were canceled slowly, but they were reports coming through. Walmart dropped the hammer yesterday from when we're recording this and basically said that, yeah, they're all going to be canceled. We weren't supposed to pre-order them. We broke a street date, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, whatever the case is. If you pre-ordered one, you're not getting it from Walmart. So they did say it was a week early, which the wording was weird because that would mean, as we're recording it right now, pre-orders could go live. Again, maybe, but I doubt at this point. But yeah, so anybody who picked up a SNES Classic from Walmart will not actually be picking up an SNES Classic from Walmart. We shall see what happens if anybody else jumps the gun and pre-orders, or if anybody pre-orders at all at this point. Still, nobody's really saying anything. Target alluded to it last week, but hasn't commented any more about it. GameStop is not saying anything. Amazon has not said anything either. So still keep your eyes peeled, everybody. We'll let you know. And then the last news story, I found this pretty interesting. A mint condition sealed copy of Super Mario Brothers just sold at auction for $30,000, actually more than $30,000 on eBay, and it has been confirmed that the buyer did in fact pay. So it wasn't one of those instances where something went up for auction, somebody won the bid, and then people never got paid. It happened. It was apparently this game was traded in with a collection of NES games years and years and years ago, and the seller is a retro game dealer who's had it for a while and just said, it's time to sell it. Started the auction with no reserve, started at a penny, so it went from a penny to $30,000. Most people, collectors, think there's probably only about a dozen examples of this game still sealed that are known. With this one, hands down, being the best condition, one of them. Some other games still sealed, popping up on NES recently. Stadium Events recently sold for about $10,000. But Super Mario Bros. Was the most manufactured game on the NES, so it's weird that this one sealed is worth so much. Recently, though, also auctioned at the same time, a sealed copy of Kid Icarus was also up for sale. That went for $11,000 as well. So still fun to find that these things are still out there and still sealed and in such great condition. I mean, the pictures are insane for this. There is a sticker on it. It was from Caldor, if you remember that place. Long time ago, Caldor's became Ames, I believe, and then Ames went out of business. So these are 2 companies ago, basically. But yeah, mint condition retail price was $26.99 on it, but just went for $30,000. What do you guys think, Josh?
So I actually, when I saw this article, I immediately texted to my brother. It did say that the reason why it went so high is because they were able to link the production code to how early it was produced in the run for the game. But just a real quick story about the reason why I sent it to my brother was last year he was helping his in-laws clean out their attic because they were moving, and they were up there and they opened up two moving boxes, and inside were sealed Nintendo Classic, Nintendo Rob, the robot, Zelda, Mario, like 15 games, all in the box, mint, like pristine boxes.
Wow.
And like we have, between the two of us as kids, we still have our NES from when we were kids, so we still have about maybe 25 to 50 games for the NES, but none of them are in the box. They're all loose. And if I have anything in the box, I have bought it more recently than before. But to stumble upon this and the conversation we had, I was like, open that Zelda, see if it's a gold cartridge. He's like, I don't want to touch it. So they're still sitting in a box, as far as I know, in either his house or his in-laws' house, that they were given to him and his wife. So he technically does own them. So I'm gonna try to claim a finder's fee if we can get a production run on those UPCs and see when they came out.
Sure. I mean, even if not, man, they're still worth a good chunk of money. Not that high, but still.
Yeah. So that's the first thing I sent him, and his reply back was, "Whoa, we gotta look this stuff up." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it, or let's open them and play them."
That's crazy. So in 2011, a sealed Rob sold for 16 grand on eBay. So that was in 2011. So you're going back 6 years ago. So yeah, get on that.
Time to do some research.
Yeah, and if you need a highly rated eBay selling account, I have a good account with high standing and lots of reviews. So 5 stars. Seth, what are your thoughts?
Don't really have any other than we sold our my Nintendo that I got for Christmas when I was 5 years old at a garage sale. I don't remember when, but at a garage sale for $50 at some point, 20 years ago now. So kind of wish we hadn't done that. Not because certainly my copy of Super Mario Bros. Wouldn't have been mint condition anyway, but I do wish I still had that. Of course, I did have my Sega Genesis up until last year, and I sold that to put toward my Switch fund. So I frequently say that old game is old, and I'm ready to play new stuff. So, but $30,000 for a video game that you're not going to open up and play, and that whoever bought it has probably played hundreds of times anyway, or whatever,
or has never played it,
or has never. Yeah, that's true too. 30,000, man.
I will say, in regards
to do that,
right? Yeah. Insane.
In regards to you selling like your NES, it's tough based on timing, because my dad 2 years ago sold all of his vinyl and in his record player, and now all of a sudden he's like, who would have thought that you could walk into a comic shop now and have to pay $40 for a new vinyl now? So like, it's tough to tell, but you also can't hold on to stuff like that, because I was an early investor in HD DVD. So who the hell knows what's going to happen?
That's a fair point. It's a fair point, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I've sold retro games before. It made a profit, but nothing like that. I mean, I sold copies of Earthbound that I've gotten over the years and sold them for like $200, and Final Fantasy 3 on SNES, I've sold those I think 2 or 3 times over too, and gotten a good chunk of profit there, but certainly not 30,000. That's for darn sure. But so that wraps it up for the news for this week. So remember, guys, you can always email us your questions or news or comments, whatever you want to do, to podcast@playsomevideogames.com, or you can feel free to tweet at us at PSVG. So it's time for us to head out for this week, boys and girls. But before we do, we want to let you know where you can link up with us and find out what we're working on, or just kind of chat with us or play games with us for that matter. Josh.
Okay, so I got my first weird Xbox message. If you guys want to hit me up on my gamer tag at Why So Serious, SIRRIUS, just be normal and like let me know why you're messaging me, and don't be weird about it, please. I can't explain to my wife why weird people are messaging me weird things on Xbox Live. It's just say, hey, you want to play a game? Or, hey, what's up? I like the podcast. Cool. Let's play some games. But don't be weird. I don't want to buy into whatever you're trying to sell me if you're not a real listener. Please. A little cross plug. Check out, listen to some Flux to Posed. If you don't, this week they're featuring my Netflixation recommendation. Kevin's not happy about it, but I don't think he's seen the movie. So check it out. It's No Escape with Owen Wilson and Lake Bell. Traumatizing, edge of your seat family drama, which literally had me anxious the whole movie. Even my wife was like, we need to watch a comedy now. Why did you make me watch this movie? I am so stressed out. And we didn't have a kid yet. So if you have kids, this is even more stressful. But it's a great movie. They're doing great stuff. Poor Jason had to do a pod on his own.
Which you're lucky. You're lucky because I was supposed to be on it and some stuff happened, so I wasn't able to make it, which he actually mentions in the podcast. Yeah. If I was on, I was hijacking that Netflixation because I was
afraid
on the
of it.
show.
I'm glad you
I
weren't
was
done.
totally going to do it. I'm so mad. But yeah.
The second he said Kevin was almost on, I was like, thank God he's not on. My Netflixation would be trashed.
Yep.
Anyways, check that out. I'm on Josh Bones on Twitter. I'm constantly retweeting the super indie podcast stuff we're doing for Splatoon 2. Come play some Splatoon with us. We could be Switch friends all day, every day, because you can't message me weird things on Switch. So let's be Switch friends. And
you can be as weird as you want because I won't know.
Yeah, and then I can jump into your Splatoon game and ruin it by being terrible. So let's be friends.
There you go. Fair enough. Seth, sir, where can people find you?
You can find me on PlayStation Network. Seth is the GOAT. Nintendo Switch at whatever my Switch code is. I have no clue, and I'm not even sure that it's on the website, so whatever. And it's funny, Josh talked about a weird message on Xbox. I got a weird message like a week ago from somebody that was very solicitous. And I exited the conversation right away. So anyway,
wait,
please.
I got one too. This is weird. All right, we'll talk about this off the air, but I got one too on PlayStation. I didn't let it get to a solicitous point, but when somebody asked me how old I was, I left the conversation. So
that was like the second, whatever they sent me first, I was like, who is this? And they said, asked me age and stuff. And yeah, pretty much.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. Yes. So it's probably the same person. Anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know. So just say, hey, we like to play games. That's all we want to do. Go on to PSVG to playsomevideogames.com. I have my write-up about NBA 2K18. I have a recent review of Nex Machina, which I didn't mention in my what I'm now playing. I haven't actually touched it. I've been on vacation a little bit, but I absolutely love Nex Machina. It's my favorite game on the PlayStation 4 this year that I've played. And if you like twin stick shooters, you like Housemarque, you should absolutely play it. And then this isn't a shout out, but a kind of last piece of breaking news kind of thing that's not really breaking. But there's a game coming out.
So it's just news.
Yeah, news. Well, it was on PlayStation Blog today. A game coming out on August 22nd called Mages of Mystralia, which was a Kickstarter game that I backed. It's been out on PC for a couple months now, and I don't have a PC, so I wasn't able to play the beta on there or anything. So I've been anxiously awaiting, and it's now like 4 weeks away. And it's an RPG where it has a magic system where you design all of the spells that you want to use. So if you want to combine, and I don't know exactly how it works because I haven't played it actually yet, but you can combine different categories of spells, and it's whatever you want to put together within the confines of the rules. So there's a post up on the PlayStation blog right now that goes into it, and that's coming in about a month, and I'm pretty excited about that. And you'll be able to read my review of that once it comes up. So anyway, so that's where I am and what I'm doing.
All right. So you can link up with me on Twitter at PSVG Kevin, on PlayStation, Koch1212, COTCH1212. Same deal. Don't be weird. That's my job. That's not your job to be weird. So, want to actually wish at probably by the time he's listening to this, a belated birthday to Sean Capri, our friend of the show there. And make sure you check out the Indie Podcast Network. There's a lot of good stuff out there. Special shout out to my buddies at Nintendo Nostalgia. I will be making another guest appearance on there in probably about 2 weeks for a special Pikmin-related episode. So looking forward to that. So check them out if you haven't. They cover basically all Nintendo history, the old games. They don't talk so much the new ones. They did make an exception for Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but most of the time they're talking NES, Game Boy Color games, stuff of that nature. So check it out if you're an old school gaming fan. Hit us up at the website, playsomevideogames.com. You read all reviews and news. You can also find how to get on board with our Discord channel. You can chat with us and kind of help spend the day pretty much. We're pretty active all day with all the different things, whether some things game related, some just nonsense, some just hanging out. But it's the best way to link up with us and play some Splatoon and other things. So feel free to join that. Just head over to the website. Directions are clearly printed right there for you. You can email us, as I mentioned before, podcast@playsomevideogames.com. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/playsomevideogames, youtube.com/playsomevideogames. Check out Flexopposed. Check out That's Entertaining. They also did that. There's a new Spider-Man episode for Spider-Man Homecoming. Prior to that was Wonder Woman, so check those out if you've been able to watch them. If you haven't watched them and you are interested, do not listen yet because they do contain spoilers, but check them out as well at that'sentertaining.net. So with that, boys and girls, we send you off into the night, but not a night trap, because that'd be creepy and that'd be weird. And we already told you guys, stop being weird. We also want you to never stop gaming.